All right, you guys, let's get into it. Hey, it is your girl Shay. I am going to be doing The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 2, Episode 13. This is Reunion Part 1. And you make sure that you go ahead and like and subscribe to this so that you can get the latest uploads. You'll get the next reunion, review, whatever, notification squad. You will also get notifications for all the other videos I'm working on. I'm always working on something different. So go ahead and subscribe so you can have that available to you, okay? Also, timestamps in the description box, so if you want to skip ahead to a certain section, that is in the description box, so you can feel free to do that if you like. All right, so let's get it started. They start off, they're backstage, they're getting ready. Andy stops by talking to the ladies. He already asked her, or asked Robyn, was Juan coming? And the first thing out of her mouth is that she had to beg Juan to come. And I'm like, girl, of course, you got to beg him to do everything. You got to beg him to look in your direction. You got to beg him to pretend like he like you. You got to beg him to pretend like he's still down with being together, because clearly he want his cake and eat it too. Basically, you're going to be doing wifely duties with no title. But you okay with it, so I guess if you like it, we should love it, huh? Anyway, you know, Andy said that Juan can get it. So, you know, I guess Juan is Andy's cup of tea. Because, you know, before Andy has said that he's down with the swirl. So, you know, he like a little chocolate in his, you know what I'm saying, his little situation. Okay? A little cream in the coffee. Go ahead, boo. So, anyway, the reunion begins. They asking about Karen, about her house. You know, she moved to Virginia. She found some varmints in her home or around her home. I'm like, what do you mean? You found raccoons? Does that mean you live in the boondocks? Like, what is really going on? I don't know what's going on with her house. She's talking about she finding varmints and shit. I don't know, girl. Good luck with that. Anyway, so they get into the conversation of Karen moving from Potomac to Virginia. She moved from Potomac to Great Falls. And so, yes, that was a great fall. I've said that before. Y'all know that's how I feel about it. But anyway, so Karen says that Gizelle is actually the one who gave her the Grand Dame title. Now, I did not know that. I had no idea. You know, everybody has been talking about this whole Grand Dame title and wondering why Karen keeps saying that somebody gave her the title. Turns out that she's saying Gizelle gave her the title. Now, Gizelle didn't deny it, so maybe it's true, because Gizelle is not the type of person who will let somebody say something and then she either doesn't dispute it or whatever. So clearly she must agree that she is the one who gave Karen this title. So now everybody can stop wondering how Karen got the title of Grand Dame of Potomac, because it was actually Gizelle who gave it to her, and Gizelle did not dispute that fact, okay? On to other things. As far as the Grand Dame thing, Karen said she's ready to get rid of it. She'll pass it around like Oprah or something like that. Like Oprah said, you get a car, you get a car. She like, you could be the Grand Dame, you could be the Grand Dame. They all like, we don't want to be the damn Grand Dame. Nobody wants that title but you. So, and I really don't understand why the title is so such a big deal. It's not really. It's like, girl. So anyway, they get to the move. Ashley, like, you moved abruptly, like you just up and packed your stuff and went. And she did. Like, girl, one thing, it's one moment you chilling in Bermuda, the next moment we find out that Ray packing your stuff and moving you while you on vacation. What kind of vacation is that? Did you plan the because Karen was the one, I think, who wanted the vacation to Bermuda. So did you plan the vacation because you was ready to get up out of there and you didn't want the girls to know anything? So you planned the trip to Bermuda, and then while you was out there vacationing, or you and all your girls or whatever, you was secretly moving and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, girl, that is a mess. And then, you know, Karen is really not happy with the way that the girls are talking about it, because Gizelle is like, you didn't tell us anything. I felt like it was wrong. Like, you know, you didn't give us any information. Gizelle said she felt offended by the fact that Karen didn't tell them what was going on with her. And you know, Karen is like, well, you know, at the end of the day, I felt like y'all were on a hump for something. Like, and they kind of were. But I think that at the same time, people just, if you're on a reality show, people want to know what's going on with you. If you move and people want to know about it. Monique showed her move. Robyn was even actually honest about her move to Baltimore or whatever. You the only one who had it in secret, but you had it in secret because you walking around calling that man a black Bill Gates, and really he ain't got that Bill Gates funds, okay? I'm just saying. So, you know, they talked about that. And Gizelle was like, you know, I just feel like me and you not that close anymore because everybody showed up to my birthday party. You didn't even come. Everybody came, especially even Monique came. And she then goes on to say, you gave some cockamamie story basically that your mother was sick, even though we do know that, not Monique, Karen's mother suffers from dementia. So she does have an illness. But Gizelle's like, it was a BS story because I later found out you were getting work done in New York. Now, Gizelle said she was getting the work done, but Karen denies it. Karen's like, I was not getting any work done. Karen calls her an effing liar and all this stuff. So, but everybody was kind of making comments that it does look like Karen had a little bit of work done. She do look a little different. Her face look a little tighter. I think she looks great though. Andy even asked her, did she have a breast reduction? She said she didn't. But Andy looked like he wasn't really buying it. He was like, okay, girl. But, so Gizelle flat out says, like, girl, you lied. You was going to get your face nipped and tucked in New York. You couldn't come to my party because you was getting some plastic surgery, basically, is what she was telling her. So that was that. Now we move on because it's the battle between Charisse and Karen, the two alpha females of the show. Gizelle would like to be an alpha female of the show. I do like Gizelle, but the real alpha females on this show, in my opinion, are Karen and Charisse, okay? They are the older ladies. They the ladies who, really get the stuff moving. Like Charisse, she's coming from a place where, she got a lot of money. She got a lot of her ex's money. And Karen, for a long time, you thought she might have had money, but then people didn't think she had any money because they couldn't stand her damn kitchen, and her kitchen wasn't redone. So people automatically knew her money wasn't as long as she was pretending it was, but that's another story. So Karen is mad at Charisse because of the comment of the broke Bill Gates situation. Karen is like, you actually owe Ray an apology for saying that about him, and that, Ray actually got the name of the Black Bill Gates because supposedly, I guess at some point, either in Potomac or in Virginia or did she say it was in DC? Wherever it was, supposedly Ray provided over 300 jobs for some people in the hair salon. We had his tech company or whatever was going on. She really didn't go into the detail, but she's saying that's how he got the name Black Bill Gates. Then Andy called her on and was like, I thought you were the one who gave him that nickname. So I'm not sure because it seems like she's saying one thing, but it could be another. I don't know. First, I didn't know who gave her the Grand Dame title. Now it comes out it was Gizelle. And now she's saying she didn't even give him the name Black Bill Gates. It was some 300 people in a salon. It's like the story with Karen keep changing. She gonna look up one day and people gonna be like, she lying like Phaedra. I like Phaedra too, but Phaedra is a known liar. So Karen, get your stuff together. Karen was also upset with Gizelle because of the Uncle Ben insult, and I kind of was like, that's some recycled shade because people have been calling Peter Thomas that on Real Housewives of Atlanta for years. So girl, gone with this Uncle Ben shade because Peter Thomas said that's not even a dig because Uncle Ben got money. Gizelle was like, oh, I just meant it like he cute. No, boo. I like Gizelle, but she don't always own her shade. Like the shade she threw Monique about the 4 homes in this episode, she don't own that shade either. I like Gizelle, but you got to own your shade, boo. If you got enough backbone to throw the shade, you got to have enough backbone to own it and say, yeah, I said it and I meant it. Nah, who gonna do something about it? That's how I feel about it. So anyway, Karen and Robyn, they have a conversation quickly about, the whole situation where they're both survivors of sexual assault. And I did say, kudos to Karen when she did the whole episode where she talked to young people, and I think Don Lemon was there, and they had the little shindig where they discussed. That was the same episode where Monique was trying to get Gizelle's phone number and gave Gizelle her phone, and Gizelle wouldn't put the phone number in there and all that stuff. That was that same episode. So we find out that Robyn was also sexually assaulted as well. I didn't really know that. And then she talks about how she doesn't want her sons to grow up and display that behavior. Robyn doesn't want her sons to grow up and do that to anybody. And I was like, okay, kudos to her. She's raising her boys right, even though they can be a little much. Did you see them episodes how he be talking to her 2 sons? They talk to her all kind of crazy, but that's another story. So kudos to them for bringing awareness to sexual assault. Okay. Then we talk about Gizelle dating. She dated some guy named Sherman, whatever. Gizelle was upset because Ray was telling Gizelle while she was dating the guy Kevin, so-called dating him. They didn't look like they was really dating to me, but okay. So she was supposedly dating a guy named Kevin, and Ray told her she needs to hurry up and find somebody because she's not getting any younger. She was kind of like insulted or offended by that, but all of the women agree with Ray, like, girl, you are not getting any younger. Like, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and find Mr. Right. That's what they basically saying. Gizelle, like, I get it. It's like, on one hand she kind of offended, but on the other hand she get what they saying. So it is what it is. And then she was throwing Monique shade, you know, all season about Monique husband having the money, and Monique don't really have any money. It's her husband money and all this stuff. So, girl, these girls be getting on my nerves sometimes. But Monique go ahead and throw a little bit of shade to Gizelle and was like, oh, excuse me, girlfriend, but at least, you know, I share my husband's wealth while you are getting 10% of tithes and offerings from your ex. Now, I guess the shade was that, you know, it's been rumored, especially sometimes in the black church. I think this happened in a lot of different churches. People just be acting like it's the black church, but it's not. But anyway, in a lot of different churches, it's always an issue because you see the pastor riding around in a Bentley and a Rolls Royce, and he living in a mansion, and people like, where he get all that money? And then the church is big, and then they like, oh, all this stuff is super lavish. Where they getting all this money from? And then sometimes it be the tithes and the offerings. You know, we heard a lot of stories of pastors getting caught up and stuff like that. So that was the shade Monique was throwing, like, why you throwing me shade about my football player husband and he retired and how we got our money? Let's talk about the fact that you getting your money, your child support, alimony, whatever your situation is, your money coming from tithes and offerings. Gizelle didn't really have a comeback for it, and baby, that was some shade. I was here for it though. I was here for it. Now, speaking of Gizelle, Monique ain't the only one that got a problem with her. Charisse got a problem with her too. So Charisse is coming for Gizelle, and she basically, they go into this whole situation where I guess Charisse was being real messy, and she compared Gizelle to Monica Lewinsky being under the desk and all of that stuff, and she was like, I'm not, well, she said that she was something like Monica Lewinsky, and then Gizelle was like, well, I'm not under the desk, and then she was like, well, I didn't say you was under the desk, and she was like, well, was I on top of the desk or something like that? So Gizelle really didn't appreciate it, but who would appreciate the comparison to Monica Lewinsky? So she wasn't happy about that. Gizelle wasn't happy about that. So Charisse was like, Andy brought up how Charisse apologized to Monica Lewinsky, but then when it was time to apologize to Gizelle, she like, oh, I did apologize. And Gizelle like, when? And then she's like, well, I apologize for calling you a hoe. But that's not the same thing as saying the whole Monica Lewinsky comment. So then Charisse gives like a half-assed apology. That apology was so insincere, so disingenuous, okay? That was not a for real apology. She did not mean it. Let's just be honest. There was nothing for real or sincere about that damn apology. Do not fake the funk. Do not make yourself believe that Charisse was really sorry, because she was not. And I was here for it. I was laughing my ass off the entire time she was giving that fake apology. So then they talk about how Gizelle was really upset because Charisse had sent Gizelle a text message at some point calling her a lying, trifling, effing B-word. So, you know, Gizelle felt some type of way. Charisse was like, yeah, you know, I said that in a text message because you told Robyn that I was cheating on my husband, which was a lie. And you also perpetuated the whole thing about me sleeping with a firefighter or a fireman or whatever. So Gizelle was like, oh, so that wasn't true. So the way that it was coming off to me was that Charisse is mad about it, and maybe she never wanted it to come out. But it does not seem like Gizelle is backing away from that statement. It seems like Gizelle is doubling down. Like, yeah, you were sleeping with a fireman. Like, to me, it just seems like that's where it is, that Gizelle is not completely backing down from it. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all think that, you know, Gizelle actually did, I mean, not Gizelle, but Charisse actually was cheating on her husband, and was she banging a fireman? Like, she looked like she don't really want to have that conversation, but she does keep calling Gizelle a liar. However, Gizelle is not really taking it back. That's all I'm saying. Then Charisse is still mad, so she throws Gizelle some quick little shade like, well, you and your husband, y'all were cheating on each other, and he was having random kids. Now, this is something that I have heard. You know, Jamal Bryant, Gizelle's ex, is the big time minister, pastor, whatever. Now, supposedly, he is Mr. Chocolate, the one who, remember, Phaedra was going to slap Kenya in the face with that purse, that episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta when they was in that restaurant, and she was like, you sleeping with Mr. Chocolate and all this stuff, and Apollo had found them text messages and all that. Supposedly, Mr. Chocolate is Gizelle's ex-husband, Jamal Bryant. So when Charisse is talking about your husband just was sleeping around and you was sleeping around and y'all was cheating on each other and all of this stuff, it may be true. And I remember Katie also saying something about how they was sleeping around and cheating on each other, something like that. So, this is a rumor that's been going around about Gizelle for a little minute. But Katie was also saying something about Gizelle getting caught in a hotel lobby, freaking some man out or something like that, half naked or whatever she said. So, I don't know. A lot of people have been talking about the whole situation with Gizelle and other men and her husband with a bunch of women while he was married, and now that he's no longer married, I don't understand how you could be a pastor and a womanizer at the same time, but it sounds like that's exactly what he does. On to the next. So Sherman is Gizelle's new man. I mentioned him a little bit earlier, and supposedly, he has deep pockets because Gizelle had said on the show she need a man with deep pockets and a long schlong. You know what I'm saying? So supposedly he meets the criteria because he said he does and she said he does. I'm like, okay, good for y'all. That's cute. Gizelle said that he's a shy and soft-spoken guy. And when Andy mentioned, are you gonna put a ring on it, dude took off running in the opposite direction. So I guess that means he ain't ready to be married anytime soon. And he might like Gizelle, but not enough to walk down the aisle right now because he sure took off running. But he was laughing when he did it. But he did go in the opposite direction, like he wasn't here for it. Anyway, Charisse said that she's friends with his ex-wife, and Gizelle said that she has seen the ex-wife. I guess Gizelle and the ex-wife are cordial, but Charisse was kind of giving it an eye roll, like, whatever, girl. So I don't know if they really cordial or they not or whatever, but that's what that was. So now let's get to the Juan and Robyn drama because, girls, listen. She just gonna let this man do her any kind of way, however he want to do it. She just gonna stay and put up with it. I have come to the conclusion that Robyn is not going anywhere. Robyn is gonna be right there with Juan. Juan gonna be doing whatever he want to do, and Robyn gonna be sitting there making excuses for it. So we need to just get over it because Juan ain't leaving that man, and that's just what it is. So let's have this conversation, okay? So then Andy says, the viewers think you're more into him than he is into you. I am one of those viewers. I have been saying that for a long time. First of all, everybody loved Robyn and stuff last season. She wasn't my favorite. I didn't dislike her, but she wasn't my favorite either. It was something about her that made me think like we wasn't getting a full picture. And this season, I'm seeing why. It was something about her last season that made me think like we wasn't seeing everything. You know what I mean? Now we getting really to see the whole picture of what it is. So she's saying that that's not true. He is just as into me. And I'm like, girl, that's not what he was saying in that closet talking to that producer. But okay. So, Ashley had threw her some shade. Ashley threw Robyn some shade. Like, whenever Juan is around, you become like this backseat person. Like, you are not yourself when he's around. And then Robyn got upset because she like, you only been around him like once or twice. Who are you to make that judgment? Ashley, I like Ashley, but she is judgmental as hell. Ashley be judging the hell out of people's relationships as if her marriage is oh so perfect, but we'll get to that. So, Gizelle talks about how Ashley was messy, telling everybody about, Juan seeing other people when they was at, Monique's party, when they had like the car party, and then she got into it with Gizelle and she put Gizelle out her house that night. Ashley was being real messy. I thought she was being messy too. Like, you came to Gizelle with the information, like, I heard that Juan is seeing other people on Robyn and blah, blah, blah. And Gizelle was like, well, if you really telling me this as a friend, don't tell anybody else because that's her personal business. But Ashley proceeded to tell everybody else, which let everybody know that she was being messy. I do like Ashley, but if you say she not messy, you just not telling the truth. Like, the girl is messy as hell. She is good for the show. She's very entertaining, but she's messy as hell, and she is always knee deep in somebody else's relationship. You would just think that her stuff is just like cookie cutter perfect. Like, girl. So anyway, we find out that the reason why Ashley knew that Juan was seeing other people is because that the person that Juan was seeing is a friend of a friend for Ashley. So it's Ashley's friend's friend. So that's how she finds out. Now Robyn is like, well, I asked you, how did you know? And she was like, well, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to go and confront the person. But I'm like, you wouldn't tell her to her face, but you gonna tell her on national television at the reunion? Like, girl, this is messy. Messy, messy, messy. And then that's when Robyn makes her announcement, America, I am fine. And we like, yes, you are beautiful, if that's what you mean by fine, but you cannot perfectly be fine. And you can't be perfectly fine in this relationship if the man doesn't really have, it doesn't really seem like he had that much respect for her. It don't seem like he really into her. It doesn't seem like she had that much respect for herself, because she putting up with a whole lot of shit. Like, child, all right, if you like it, I love it. But I don't love it, because I don't like to see any woman being put through this much drama and sticking up and staying with this kind of mess. I just don't like it. So anyway, let's move on. So Monique versus Gizelle. Okay, so first we get into the conversation just about the whole mother-in-law situation, because not Gizelle, Monique's mother-in-law can't stand her, and she made that very clear at that dinner. I know y'all saw that episode. She was sitting there talking trash about Monique and calling Monique a heifer and all that stuff. Come to find out, Monique and Chris both found out that his mother called her a heifer on national television. They was watching the show with the rest of the country and had to rewind it a couple times, like, damn, he called my wife a heifer. Then Andy said, well, when was the last time you saw her or you spoke to her or something? And that she said she test drove a car for his mom, and then the car was sent to his mom, and the mom called her and said thank you. That was the last time that Monique spoke to her mother-in-law, and that was last July. So a year ago, for a year she has not spoke to her mother-in-law. So that's kind of shady. I'm like, damn, did she do that much for the mother-in-law not to like her? I think that the mother-in-law probably is just jealous because she like all that money. She would be mad, and now I got to share it with his wife. But anyway, I think that Monique, she's in between a rock and a hard place, because she can't say anything disrespectful because she don't want to disrespect her husband's mother. But at the same time, like, she probably thinking like, this hag is just talking all kind of trash about me, and I don't appreciate it. So we'll see what happens. Well, anyway, then she get into it with Gizelle. This is what I be talking about when Gizelle be pretending like she don't really throw shade, because Gizelle gonna say she really didn't mean any shade by the 4 homes comments, and you did. Like, you was like, so you don't have a house in Potomac, you don't live in Potomac? And she was like, actually, I have 4 homes. You turned that into a whole situation all season where you was like, yeah, she act like she all that, gonna tell me she got 5 homes. And this, like, Gizelle trying to pretend like she was not coming for Monique all season. Baby girl, you were. And then Monique, like, clearly you don't remember the stuff you said. You so busy calling me dumb, but maybe you need some brain exercises, because you're not remembering all the stuff you said. I'm like, ooh, Rita. And then, they going back and forth, and they talking about the whole hookah situation. Gizelle was definitely throwing shade, but she pretended like she wasn't. I'm like, this is my thing about Gizelle. I like Gizelle, but girl, if you gonna throw the shade, you gotta own the shade. You can't throw the shade and then step back and say, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Like, girl, the whole world was watching. We saw the shade you was throwing the girl. So you should come to the reunion like, yeah, I threw that shade because I don't like you and I don't rock with you. Now that I can respect. If you can sit there and look her in the face and be like, this is how I feel about you. And that's what Monique was trying to say. Like, why you can't tell me how you really feel about me, because you have a lot to say about me in your confessionals. But when it comes down to saying it to my face, you kind of mum. You on mute. You on silent. So what's the problem? So I just think that if Gizelle gonna keep throwing shade in these confessionals, if she gonna keep throwing shade on the episodes, baby, you got to throw that shade at the same time to that person's face. When you get to the reunion, don't backtrack like you didn't say it. On it, be like, yeah, I said it and I meant it, and who gonna do something about it? Now that's a bad chick. That's why people like Nene on Real Housewives of Atlanta, because she would throw you shade in the confessional, then she would see you in person, throw the exact same shade with a straight face. That's the type of shade I respect. If you gonna throw it, own it. That's all I'm saying. So moving on, so they talked about what happened at the whole car party or whatever. She talked about like, yeah, she was like, I stayed in the house because I was trying not to be in the middle of some drama, and I was waiting on Charisse or something like that. She like, no, you stayed in the house because you wore a coat to a party when it was 90 degrees outside. I was like laughing because I'm like, ain't it summertime? Why does she have on a coat? I could not figure out why Gizelle was wearing a coat in that scene. So when Monique threw that shade, I had to get a little giggle right there, because when the actual episode happened, I could not figure out why she wore a coat to the pool party. I just could not figure it out. But anyway, so Monique was trying to like call Gizelle out, like, why was you in my kitchen talking trash? That's why you got put out, blah, blah, blah. And that's when Gizelle was like, people go to each other's house and talk trash all the time. And she like, Monique, Karen, and Andy like, no, they don't. no, they, no, they don't. No, they don't. And I mean, you know, Gizelle was trying to hold steady on it, like that's how she felt or whatever. But I'm like, girl, no. People don't go to each other's house to talk trash. You want to talk to Monique about what's classy and what's not classy. It's not classy to go to somebody's house and stand in their kitchen and talk shit about them. That's not classy. So if you're gonna talk about it wasn't classy that she was rapping at the little tea thing or whatever, because you said that on one episode that wasn't classy. You said some other stuff she did wasn't classy. It's not classy for you to go to her house and talk shit about her either. So hey, I like them all, but I'm gonna tell the truth about them all. I'm just saying. Moving on. So then they go to the unseen footage, because now Monique has a problem with Robyn, and Monique feels like Robyn is different towards her when Gizelle is around, and all the girls agree that Robyn is different. I also agree. I also noted this in one of my reviews and recaps. I also believe that Robyn is different when Gizelle is around. I think that Robyn is nicer to people when Gizelle is not around. I think that Robyn handles situations differently than when Gizelle is around. I remember at the beginning of the season, Robyn was actually calling Gizelle out for the fact that Gizelle had been talking trash about Charisse on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and saying the whole situation about the firemen, and she's talking about how Gizelle was being messy and Gizelle took it to another level. So in the beginning of the season, Robyn herself was calling out Gizelle. Then by the end of the season, she basically flip-flopping depending on which way Gizelle goes. And I said before in another recap that I don't want to consider Robyn a follower, so I'm going to hold back on calling her that. But I do feel like sometimes the way that she portrays herself is a little different based on whether or not Gizelle is in the room. I do stand by that comment, and the other ladies seem to agree. So as we keep going, Monique was talking about how Robyn let Gizelle take the fall for talking about that Monique talks too much. And then they show some unseen footage where Robyn says, you know, something about the issue that Gizelle has with Monique is that she talks too much. Come to find out, that's also Monique's issue, but Monique never said, I mean, that's also Robyn's issue, but Robyn never said that to Monique at the time. I noted that in a recap and review as well. I was like, I don't want to start thinking that, you know, Robyn is the type of person whose mindset and opinion changes based on whether or not she with Gizelle. But why does it seem like Robyn only has something negative to say about Monique when Gizelle is in a room, or when she, you know, hanging out with Gizelle? That's when she usually has something negative to say about Monique. So Monique seemed to notice that too and called her out for it. Robyn denies it, but I'm just saying, like, it is what it is. And then, you know, Robyn, I guess, was really upset because at some point Monique made a comment, and I guess one of her blogs, you know, you write the little blogs about what's going on the show and stuff like that. Some point in her blogging, Monique wrote that Gizelle only hangs out with people who she thinks are beneath her, and that's why she has a girl crush on Robyn, because, and essentially Monique was saying that Gizelle thinks that Robyn is beneath her. But Monique is very pissed off with this statement. She takes issue with it because she like, so you saying that I'm below Gizelle? Is that what you trying to say? That I'm below her? That I'm not beneath her and all this stuff? And Monique is like, that's not what I was saying. I was saying that that's how she sees you. She sees you as beneath her. That's why she's so close to you. That's why she treats you differently, and she comes for certain people differently. She doesn't come for Charisse the way she comes for other people. She doesn't come for Karen the way she comes for other people. And basically Monique is saying, I'm not saying that you are beneath her. I'm saying that she sees you that way. I can understand both of their point of view. You know, Robyn took offense to it because she feels like you're saying that I'm beneath her. But really, Robyn, I think that the real reason why Robyn is getting mad is because she's getting called out because people starting to see her as a follower. And she don't want to be seen that way. And so instead of her taking issue with her behavior throughout the season, she want to take issue with everybody else because everybody agreed with Monique. Karen, Charisse, Ashley, they all agreed with Monique that Robyn is different around Gizelle, and she is. I'm sorry. And if you a Robyn fan, look, she's a pretty girl. That's great. But she is different around Gizelle. So I don't know why she's so damn mad, because the truth is the truth. And I guess the truth hurts, because she looked like she wanted to cry a couple times, but that's just me. You know, maybe she was just upset about whatever. So then Andy keeps asking Monique to do her rap. So basically her rap was that Karen moved, Charisse has a champagne room, Ashley stirs the pot, Monique talks a lot, Gizelle is on a mission, a money hungry, throwing shade. I was like, oh, okay. And then she said things remain the same. Robyn's still talking about Juan. So yeah, you know, Robyn was not amused. She was kind of pissed. You could see it in her face. She had an attitude. She could not believe that old girl said that about her. Sorry, boo. I don't know what to tell you. But moving on. Ashley, they was trying to figure out, is Ashley a truth teller or is she a pot stirrer? And Ashley was like, you know, she tells the truth, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't want Robyn to end up like Gizelle. I mean, she doesn't want Robyn to end up like Charisse. Robyn is pissed off. She like, stop talking about my personal business. Stop talking about what's going on with my life. Stop talking about my marriage or my divorce or whatever. You not a friend. You just super messy and all of this stuff. And they were talking about, well, your marriage isn't that good. And Ashley was like, well, I'm not going to be like y'all sitting in a bad situation 20 years later. And I was like, shade. You know, whatever you want to say about Ashley, that girl could throw some hella shade. Ashley could throw some shade, okay? Ashley throw some good shade. Real good shade. And a lot of them can't keep up. And that's why they don't like Ashley. Now, I will say Ashley is messy as hell. Ashley need to quit talking about people's business, because when Andy asked her what was going on with her marriage, you know, she quickly talking about she has an epiphany that she doesn't want to be without Michael. Whether we're not we're together, it'll still be okay. But she kind of mumbled her answer, like whether we're together or not, it'll be okay. And she said it real quickly, and I'm like, but you don't mumble when you're talking about other people's personal business. So why you mumbling when people trying to figure out whether or not you and your man still gonna be together? I'm just saying, if you are loud and proud when you talking about what Robyn going through and what Charisse going through and talking rumors and stuff, because she was telling rumors about Robyn's financial situation last season. So now this season, you going into rumors about other stuff. So if you really truly believe all this stuff and you were screaming for the mountaintops, if you were screaming from the mountaintops, why would you want to do the same thing with your situation? So, you know, they call her out, and they was like, Ashley was making a scene in the restaurant. Then they cut the cameras talking about they going to break or whatever. Robyn starts going in talking about, yo, I beat Ashley ass. I would have beat Ashley ass that day at that party. They don't know how to put her ass in a headlock and all kind of stuff. And Andy just sitting there texting. Now, everybody clearly can hear her because she not whispering. Ashley could hear her because she like, you know, her whole facial expression changed. Monique heard it. They all heard Robyn saying like she will whoop Ashley's ass. And that's basically what she's saying. Like, I'm tired of you talking about my personal life. And even though Robyn puts her personal life on this show, they all do. But Ashley takes it to another level about talking about people's relationships. And I'm like, listen, Ashley, unless you're going to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you might want to shut the hell up, because Robyn do look like she will whip your ass. Now, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that physical violence is right. I'm just saying they will be sweeping you up off the floor if you don't shut up. That's all I'm saying. So while you trying to make sure you secure your spot for next season, you going to secure a black eye at the same time. That's all I'm saying. Because when Robyn was saying that she'll whoop your ass, she looked real serious. She looked like she was for real about it. And, you know, Robyn was saying, like, stop slamming my situation. I don't talk down about what's going on with you and Michael. Why do you have the right to talk about what's going on with me? Whatever is going to be said, I will just say this. Ashley, you better shut the hell up, because Robyn looked like she wanted to, like, haul off while she was on that damn couch and slap you silly. So if you want to keep your teeth firmly planted in your face, you might want to close your mouth. I'm just saying. Because I like Ashley. She makes for great TV. Ashley is definitely going to be back for season 3. Ashley is definitely going to be back for season 3, okay? She is too entertaining not to be. I think Monique is definitely going to be back. I think quite a few of them are definitely going to be back. But Ashley, tread lightly, my dear, because you messing around with people's families. That's when people really get into their emotions. Whether Juan is right or wrong, it's not your place to keep dragging their relationship. And that's what you was doing. Because Charisse told you she was going to whoop your ass that day when y'all was trying on dresses at that shop. When y'all was I forgot what episode that was, but you was saying some stuff about Charisse's relationship and she needs to quit crying about Eddie. And she told you she was gonna whoop your ass. So honestly, you know, you need to calm down on what you have to say. Now I gotta answer this phone call, but I'm gonna just say this, y'all. She need to calm down on what she's talking about because she gonna get her ass whooped on one of these reunions. Now y'all make sure y'all subscribe and check out the next video because I'm getting ready to get started on Power. Mwah.